everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the Blue Tongue Skink care guide that Petco created. Hi everyone and welcome to Pets in a Pod. I'm Taylor and today I wanted to review another care guide created from Petco. So this is Petco's care guide on the Northern Blue Tongue Skink, so specifically for the Northern Blue Tongue Skink, and I wanted to review it. We already did do the leopard gecko. If you're interested in seeing my review on their care guide for the leopard gecko, I'll link it below and hopefully in the cards. My cards haven't been working, like the little things that pop up in the top. I don't know why, but it will definitely be in the description if you want to see that. But today I wanted to do the Northern Blue Tongue Skink because that's what I have and that's what I want to talk about. All right, so first things first, you'll notice that on this care guide it says arid skink, and that is not a blue tongue. And they do, if you go to Petco, they did have a separate care guide that said tropical skink. So I want to talk about that because that can lead to some issues. Now that I think about it, I should have picked up the tropical skink one too. But anyway, they have arid skink and tropical skink side by side. The tropical skink care sheet has a picture of a blue tongue skink on it, but it's specifically the Indonesian blue tongue skink. And then this is the arid skink care, but this has a fire skink on it. And the thing is, if you have a northern, eastern, western, is there a southern blue tongue skink? If you're in America, it's most likely of a northern blue tongue skink. If you have an Australian species though, they fit into the arid skink category. Australia, in some places, yes, tropical, but for the most part, northern blue tongue skinks come from more arid environments. When someone's going and looking at care guides and they get a blue tongue skink, they might pick the wrong brochure because they have tropical and arid, but the one with the skink picture on it or the blue tongue picture on it isn't the tropical. So that's an issue I have there. Let's just hope they got the right brochure. So we're gonna review this one for a northern blue tongue skink. So something I noticed on the inside flap, I didn't say this on the leopard gecko video and I wish I would have noticed it. There's like a little like Petco symbol in the top right, and then it says developed with and approved by a qualified veterinarian, which is nice. But it gives people the impression that just because a veterinarian has approved this, that this is like a one and done, this is it, no more research is needed. And also, I have an issue when things say approved by a veterinarian because veterinarians often study very specific animal care and animal species, mainly cats and dogs. When veterinarians are getting trained, they do tend to also do research into other species that they might have an interest in. Like you might have a veterinarian who really loves rabbits and so they also specialize in that, or really loves birds and they specialize in that, or reptiles. But very rarely does a veterinarian kind of cover all things in such deep depth that they're gonna get it all right for all species. It's just the reality of kind of knowing a lot about a lot of things. And I'm that way. Like, I know a lot about a lot of things, but I'm not one to give advice on snakes, really. I know a little bit about snakes. I kept snakes as a child, but I'm not an expert on snakes to where I could write a snake care guide. Do you see what I mean? So just because this is a veterinarian doesn't mean they actually know about skinks. I would hope they had a veterinarian who does know about skinks write this up. But there's no way to prove that or know it. Back to the brochure and the information. So for diet, it does say a well-balanced diet consists of a variety of live insects, including gut-loaded crickets, mealworms, roaches, and waxworms. That's actually good. I don't think roaches was listed on leopard geckos, even though they can eat them too, but I like that that's listed for skinks. Roaches are very nutritious. Roaches can also almost outcompete crickets in the food game. But I do wish they would also say like some skinks can also, eat veggies and fruits and stuff like that, because it is good to have a varied diet. Insects should be the primary source as a protein, but they can still have other foods, like I said, like fruits and veggies. Then with feeding, it says to provide fresh, clean, chlorine-free water, which is good. Feed daily, sprinkle food with calcium daily. You don't have to feed your skink daily. I don't think any of these skink species, like even the fire skink on the front, I don't think you need to feed any of these daily. Reptiles are opportunistic, which basically means in the wild, they are not given food on a daily basis and have such great abundance of food that they're eating constantly. Usually, they're eating intermittently, so they can only eat like once or twice a week, or sometimes less than that depending on the seasons and stuff. They're not eating full meals daily, and this just misconceives that, and this is why we have obese reptiles in the trade, because people just tend to think, you know, oh, I eat daily, my dog eats daily, I'm gonna feed my reptile daily too, and they don't need to eat daily. I feed my skink once a week, one hefty meal, and then a second time a week they get snacks. Housing, it says appropriately sized habitat for adult skinks to roam and exercise. Due to the varied sizes and growth rates of skinks, we recommend you consult a book on the species. Thank you. At least they're vague in the right spots. They're saying like there's all kinds of skinks. Even on the list they give, there's all kinds of skinks, and it's not a one size fits all, and you should consult a book. My only issue is I wish they would give like some kind of a minimum size, or maybe like sample sizes for like a few different skinks, because if you go to Petco and you look at the tanks they offer, none of them are big enough for a blue-tongued skink. You actually need to go to the aquarium fish tanks and buy a minimum 75 gallon, and that's in the aquatic section. So if people are thinking like reptile only, and they look at the cages offered, that 40 breeder is not really gonna be enough for your blue tongue. Under habitat, provide a hiding area, use an under tank heater on one end, create a warmer, maintain less than 50% humidity, however mist as much as needed to keep substrate moist. Substrate could be coconut fiber or mulch for skinks that like to dig and burrow. All of this is kind of on the right track. I just wish they wouldn't mention the under tank heater, because if you do soil or bioactive, under tank heating is not ideal in that way. You should really just have a basking light. I do like that they mentioned mulch. Mulch is perfect for northern blue-tongue skinks, so that's good. Coconut fiber isn't really that beneficial. It's very powdery and dusty when dry, and since these are arid skinks, it's gonna be dry a lot of the time. Moving on to temperature and lighting. For temperature, it says 100 degrees on the warm end, 70 for the cool end. That's true if the warm end is the basking spot. The basking spot for a blue-tongued skink should be at about 100. And then the ambient around that can drop down a little bit, and then of course the cool end could be in the 70s. This though, why are they specific on this? Because there's so many different skinks, and even though they're all arid, they don't all have the same like basking temperatures and ambient temperatures. So why is this when they decide to say like 100 degrees for the ambient on the warm side? Because if that's the ambient, then your basking has to be pretty high, and blue tongues should really be at about 100 at the basking. So I don't know why that? And then it just says to house them separately and don't house them with other reptiles. Perfect. Thank you, Petco, for not cohabbing or pushing cohabbing. I'm gonna say this again, I said it in the leopard gecko video. Remember, the person who's picking up this care guide is someone who is new to this species, maybe even all reptiles. They're picking this up because they want the information. And if they're new to reptiles, they shouldn't be cohabbing. Then it goes into normal behaviors, red flags, and common health issues. All of these look like decent to me. I don't see anything really wrong. It's just saying like, don't grab a skink by its tail. If it has an issue, consult a vet. None of those give me any red flags. Moving on to the second side of the inside flap, I'm gonna try and push through this a little bit. Habitat maintenance, it's talking about thoroughly cleaning with the bleach solution. I talked about this in the leopard gecko video. Basically, if you have a bioactive setup, you don't have to clean your cage down with a bleach solution. Even if you are cleaning, you shouldn't use a bleach solution. Vinegar and water is fine, as well as it's saying clean once a week. And again, if you go bioactive, you don't have to clean at all, unless it's spot cleaning, like if you need to pull out a hide to clean or something like that, or the water dish to clean. Signs of a healthy animal, and those all look good. And then moving on to the back, they have the shopping list for if you're getting a skink, what do you need? All of this is kind of just restated from what's on the inside. I do like that the very last thing though they do say is you need a book about skinks. I would just add the book about your skink species, not just skinks in general, but the skink species. But I do like that they encourage the book. It really pushes people to go into more research, to not just accept this as the last say so. The more information you gather, the more you can make an informed decision for yourself, and that's really the point of reptile keeping. We want to always be improving and doing our best, and we can only do that if we look into what other people are doing and what other people have tried and what's in the wild, in nature. So keep researching. Thank you, Petco, for kind of pushing that. It is at the bottom though. Maybe put that as number 1. Like, do more research, buy a book. And yeah, that's the end of the skink care guide for the northern skink, aka arid skinks. Let me know what you guys think. I rate this also 7 out of 10. I rated the leopard gecko in the same. Like I said, it's not as bad as it seems. I think in the past these were much more terrible. This one didn't mention calci sand at all, so maybe this gets an 8 out of 10. The biggest issue is that people who are getting a northern blue tongue skink won't probably pick up this one. They'll pick up the tropical one, and I don't know what that one says. So it could have wrong information. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. It's not as bad as it used to be. They are improving, and that's all we can ask for is improvement. And now we can take this and kind of keep pushing them in the right direction. If you like videos like this, please subscribe. I do post every Friday, so if you subscribe, you won't miss a week. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!